I'm Seher Zama. We're making a start with breaking inputs, inside details now coming in. First information on the discussion which is on at this all-party meet that has been called in by the Prime Minister with respect to discussing the Indo-China relations, details of exactly what happened at Galwan Valley. This has come in after a demand that was raised by leaders of various opposition political parties across the spectrum here, seeking more inputs. Getting in some further inside details, Foreign Minister is to brief all parties. Our correspondent Ayushman getting us more inputs here on what are the specifics which have been discussed so far. What more can you get us, Ayushman?
Well, sir, the all-party meeting with the leaders from all across the country the meeting is on currently, and we are being told that S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, will be briefing the parties on the current situation and what has happened, because there are a lot many questions which the parties have been asking to the center, and S. Jaishankar will be briefing on that. And Defense Minister Rajnath Singh will also explain. We know that in the morning also, sir, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh called almost all the parties and tried to bring in a consensus over the discussion. And he will explain to the parties as to what is happening right now. And the External Affairs Minister will be giving the detail of what is the situation right now. So this is what has come from initially. There was certain controversy also prior to this meeting, Seher, where several political parties raised question as to why they were excluded out of it. Nonetheless, now the meeting has started where almost all the political parties, opposition included, have been called, and they are being briefed as to what is the current status in the Galwan Valley, the Indo-China standoff. This is happening into the backdrop of Indo-China standoff.
Ayushman, is this just about specific questions which the opposition is asked, which is already out in the public domain, on what are the nature of queries being raised by the opposition? Of course, questions have been asked on why there was a miscalculation, if at all, why did we suffer these losses, how are we taken aback suddenly despite de-escalation talks which were on. Is it going to be just about what exactly happened that led up to this bloody clash at the Galwan Valley, or is it also going to be in asking the government what's the next course of action? What is the government planning to do next about this?
Well, it will be a mix of both, Seher. Like you said, the opposition has been targeting the government over the handling of situation. If you consider this case, and even before that, it has been saying that the transparency with which the government should have acted, that is definitely lacking. At the same time, they also want a roadmap as to what will be the roadmap from here, because if you see the current status right now, we have seen chief ministers like Amrinder Singh. He questioned as to why the Jawans were not armed. The government has we saw comment from S. Jaishankar on that. But definitely, if you see the current situation, there are several questions being raised, not just of the standoff, not just of the Jawans who died, but also what will be the roadmap for future. But for now, definitely, the government focuses on briefing the political parties on what is the current situation, and that is what we are getting to know. That two of the key ministers, the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, will be briefing the parties on the current status of the Indo-China standoff that is taking place right now.
Yes, stay with us, please. We also have our managing editor Vinay Tiwari with us here on this as well. Vinay, we're of course to an extent well versed with very stern questions that are going to be asked by the opposition. To what extent would this be about coming together in a common resolution on what to do next? To what extent the government would be taking into account suggestions that other major opposition party leaders, presidents of regional parties and other heads would be making on what the country needs to do next as well?
I think, sir, a lot has changed in the way Indian politics has conducted itself over the last many decades. I mean, we've had, tension or hostilities at the border in the past, and, the way the government or the opposition relationship used to work, then it's a very different world. Every party who governs India at the center has a very different style of operating, and the NDA style is quite markedly different from the way the previous government was. Now, for the longest time, the widely held view was that foreign policy and issues which are matters of external aggression require a consensus and an all-party approach. That everyone tends to just support the government without really raising any questions about what the government is doing or not doing. I mean, that was pretty much the standard policy that, if you see, was followed all through 90s and then, of course, the early part of the 2000s as well. But things have slightly changed. I mean, you now see the opposition parties tend to raise more questions of the government's handling of a particular situation, much like what's been done with this Indo-China conflict as well. The first 1.5 days to 2 days were spent in opposition actually questioning the government on not being transparent or not talking about it at all, because there were only one comment that had come from the army and the government had taken about a day and a half to respond. And then, of course, once the responses came and we figured out how bad the incident was, the opposition started questioning on the strategic decision-making of the government. And this is not as if that the opposition has changed its style. Even the government style has been different. This government is a way more decisive government that doesn't really always bother about consensus or involving or actually making everyone agree. If they believe there is a particular way to be taken in diplomacy or in foreign policy, they just go ahead and take it. And that is possibly one reason why, if you see, even in this case, the opposition briefing is happening today. Personally, we still don't know all the details that have come from that meeting, but I can almost be certain that this is going to be, basically they'll give them the rudimentary facts of what really happened. Obviously, there'll be some questions put by the opposition. I don't expect the government to be answering all questions.
Yes.
Because a lot of the questions that the opposition is asking are slightly uncomfortable. There are questions about the people have raised about the government not having anticipated the problem that was there at the border. There are enough reports to suggest that there was some movement and build-up that was being noticed on the other side, and the government possibly misread that situation or underestimated the intent of the Chinese. All of those tough questions possibly will get asked, but I don't see that them getting answered because, frankly, we are in the middle of a very radical problem with the Chinese government in any case, and I don't see the government at the highest level really saying anything openly or categorically to the opposition leaders as well. Sir.
Right. So Vinay, effectively, we've heard maximum of what the government was comfortable talking about, and also issuing a couple of clarifications that came in late till yesterday, specifically responding to questions that were asked by other parties, responding to questions, allegations, so to say, also that were put forth by the Congress. Some of that clarification has already come in. So effectively, in today's meet, are we really going to be looking at more answers that could be coming forth, that could be coming into the public domain through statements of opposition parties if they've heard more from the government today?
I think there will be a lot of reiteration of what we possibly heard when the Prime Minister addressed the Chief Ministers during the Corona meeting that he had organized with the Chief Ministers. There was an opening address that actually became a little bit about China as well. I think we'll see a reiteration of that, where the Prime Minister will make it very clear that India's position is that they will not tolerate any kind of aggressive intent, that they reserve the right to hit back if they are attacked or betrayed in the manner that it had happened. My personal sense is that the government will face questions even on issues like trade and the commerce that the two countries currently are very deeply entwined in. Remember, these issues also involve the state governments, which are ruled by different parties. The Maharashtra government, for instance, was attacked by the BJP, ironically, in Mumbai for having signed an MOU with the Chinese just about a week back. And Maharashtra is an opposition-ruled state. It's not a BJP-ruled state. So there are direct trade ties that states have with the Chinese business interests as well. So I'm assuming that some of those questioning could be around that as well. Because remember, any decision that the central government takes vis-a-vis trade-related issues or business or tariff-related issues will impact the states as well. There's a very direct economic cooperation that now happens between the states and other countries as well. Even states like Gujarat, for instance, in their investor summit had attracted nearly $1 billion of investment from Gujarat. So there is a deep sense of involvement that the world has with states. So those questions possibly might come up. I don't see the government answering all of them right now because honestly probably it's too early or premature. But certainly that's something that the government would have on its plate in terms of the policy as we move on.
All right, that's an interesting insight here, specifically looking at examples of Gujarat and Maharashtra that you've given there. Managing Editor Vinay Tiwari, thank you for those updates. Also, our correspondent Ayushman, who's been getting us more inside details there of that ongoing meeting.